Very recently, I did a video explaining the role of calories in weight management, and I got a bunch of questions. So today I wanted to bring that topic back to the kitchen, back to the plate, and actually show you how you can figure out the amount of calories in the things that you are eating and stuff along those lines. So stay tuned.
An African woman, strong, powerful.
As a recap, calorie is a measurement of the energy potential in the things that we consume, like food or whatever that we drink. And again, I will leave links to that episode I did on calories and weight management. I did a video and I also posted something on the blog, www.yajenggala.com. I will leave links in the description, so be sure to check that out. So when I shared that video, somebody was now like, okay, how do I know how much calories I'm consuming? So that's the question that I'm going to try to answer today. Here I have a set of measuring cups, a set of measuring spoons, and I have a kitchen scale. These three gadgets, I suggest and I highly recommend that if you're serious about managing your weight, you should try to possess these three. It's not required, but it will really teach you what you're supposed to know. Now, I know, please don't fight me. I'm not saying you're gonna weigh and measure every single thing that you eat. But initially, at the beginning, it's a good idea to know how 100 grams of plantains look like. It's good to know how half a cup of rice looks like. It's good to know how, the quantity versus the calories, because oftentimes we overconsume food because we do not know. First, let's talk about food labels. Most packaged foods, meaning anything that comes in a bag, in a box, in a tin, in a bottle, carry some form of labeling. There's the front part of the label, which basically is advertising. And then the important part is that back part of the label, the backpack that talks about the nutrition facts. That's what you should be paying attention to. The nutrition facts carries important information about what is contained in what you're about to eat or to drink. The very first thing you should pay attention to is the servings per container. How many servings you have in the container, which is referred to as the serving size. This is important because every other piece of information that is provided below that is per serving size, not per the entire package. So the rest of the nutritional information that will be provided on the nutrition facts label will be based on the serving size indicated. To illustrate how this looks like on a plate, because at the end of the day, we're not eating calories, we're eating food. Let me go to the kitchen and make some fufu and vegetables with beef, just to show you how you can then use this information to estimate how many calories you are looking at on a plate. To estimate the amount of calories on a plate of food, you have to go back to the ingredients that you use to cook the food with. In this case, I have oatmeal fufu, I have spinach, it could be any green leafy vegetables, and then I have beef, and I cook this with 2 tablespoons of oil. Not this, the entire pot, but 2 tablespoons of oil. So I have to go back and look at the amount of calories in each of these ingredients, see how many portions I came up with. Like if I cooked an entire pot of the vegetables and an entire pot of fufu, then I have to estimate how many portions. A portion is just what you end up putting on your plate. Then do the math. There's a little bit of weight loss math, a little bit of math involved. It's not that complicated. I'll show you exactly how. Let's estimate how much calories I have in this fufu right here. For this fufu, I used 1 cup of oatmeal, and there is 150 calories per half cup. So 1 cup gives me 300 calories. Let's make our oatmeal fufu. Just add the oatmeal to a blender, any blender that you have, and then add about an equal amount of water. I'm using about 300 milliliters in this case, and blend until it's really finely blended, like a mushy liquid. You add that to a saucepan and then just cook gently over medium heat. It takes about 5 to 7 minutes and it will begin to thicken. Make sure you stir continuously so it doesn't burn. It will begin to thicken and form that fufu paste, that fufu dough, that fufu consistency that we know. So at this point, you just transfer that to a plate and it's ready to eat. Again, remember that we use 300 calories worth of oatmeal. So 1 loaf of this fufu would be 300 calories. 1 portion will be 300 calories if you just made 1 loaf. But if you decided to split that up into 2, because this one was too big, which I recommend you split that up into 2, then you will end up with 150 calories per serving. Now let's estimate how much calories are in the beef that we're gonna use. I have here a cut of beef which has some fat, which I recommend you try to trim as much of the visible fat as you can before you use the beef. Anyway, let's estimate how many calories we have in that beef. My rough estimate is that for every 3 ounces of beef, there is about 200 calories. Again, it's a rough estimate. It all depends on what cut of beef you're using and the amount of fat in there. But for purposes of this, our little experiment here, this our little class here, let's say that 3 ounces make 200 calories. And for this particular recipe, I used 10 ounces. So my estimate is about 600 calories, give or take. So if it's 600 calories, what you're looking at right here, there's about 50 calories per slice, per cube of the beef that you're looking at right now. The other major ingredient that we're using for the fufu and the vegetables is frozen spinach, which I think every cook should have in their freezer anyway. This is blanched spinach, which means it's already kind of cooked. Per package, per 10-ounce package, which is what we're looking at right now, there are 3.5 servings, and each serving is 30 calories. So that means for one entire package, there is about 105 calories. So it's 30 times 3.5, maybe around 105 calories, which is not that much. My spinach is ready. I cooked all of it in the Instapot. So I used 2 packs of my spinach, which was 10 ounces each, and each pack was about 105 calories. So just the green itself was 200 calories, all of this. And then I put just 2 tablespoons of oil. This is a tablespoon. I put 2 tablespoons of oil. So 1 tablespoon of oil is 130 calories. So 2 is 260 calories. So as you can see, let's do some arithmetic, shall we, in our pot of spinach. Recap. We have 2 packs of frozen spinach in there, estimated at around 200 calories. We have 2 tablespoons of oil, estimated at around 260 calories. We have 10 ounces of a fatty cut of beef, estimated at around 600 calories. So this whole pot is about 1,200 calories. So if I divide the pot equally into 4 servings, 4 portions, like 4 portions, then we're talking 1 portion is 1,200 divided by 4, which is about 300 calories of the vegetables plus the protein. That's before the fufu. So each part of this is about 300 calories. And if I add the fufu, this is one part of the two servings of fufu that I cooked. So when I add that to it to make a complete plate, that's 150 calories plus 300. That's about 450 calories, give or take. Remember, this is an estimate. It's not exact science. But then now you can see how, 450 to 500. I usually estimate up. If it's 450, I'm just thinking of this as a 500 calorie dinner of your vegetables, some protein, and then the fufu. So that's how it looks like. So next time you see my plate and say, now all tonight you chop, it's because it's very portion control. This is what portion control looks like. You adjust the quantity of the healthy things that you're eating to be within your daily calorie allowance. And if you have no idea what your calorie allowance should be, make sure you check the description box for links to the blog post I did on how to figure out exactly what your calorie allowance is. Portion control at the end of the day is a way to manage your daily calorie allowance for whatever goal you're trying to pursue, whether it's maintenance or weight loss. So be sure to check out the links. I thank you so much for watching. Let me know if this was useful. Until next time, bye-bye.